given what the government's been doing and this administration's been doing, it would not shock me, and I hate to speculate, if we were to find out that a whole bunch of people who work in Washington as our elected leaders, one way or the other, ultimately sold stocks last week.
All right, let me ask you something. What if I told you that members of Congress, not just any members, but the same ones voting on policies that shape our economy, are making suspiciously timed stock trades? And what if I told you that those trades just happen to align perfectly with policy announcements that send the markets soaring or crashing?
I hate to speculate, if we were to find out that a whole bunch of people who work in Washington as our elected leaders, one way or the other, ultimately sold stocks last week.
You see, it started with a simple question. CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin said out loud what many of us have been thinking for a long time, that politicians and government insiders may be gaming the stock market, or gaming a market crash to benefit themselves. Now, at first glance, that might sound like a conspiracy theory, right? But thanks to new reporting from Sludge, we now know that Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has made some very peculiar financial moves. Ones that line up a little too well with recent economic announcements.
President Trump is doing the right thing for the American people, and I don't think any other country can complain.
You see, in the public, Congresswoman Greene has been a vocal supporter of Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. She said it repeatedly on social media, posts that read, "President Trump is restoring our economic independence." Messages clearly intended to rally support for his trade agenda. Okay, that's the public face, but behind the scenes? Well, between March 17th and March 25th, the Greene purchased up to $750,000 worth of U.S. Treasury bonds. Now, if you understand how markets work, that's significant, because when a market crash is coming, when things are about to get volatile, investors move their money out of stocks and into Treasury bonds. Why? Because bonds are considered safer. And when that happens, the value of those bonds then goes up.
I'm telling you, these countries are calling us out, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything, sir.
So let's just consider the timing here. Trump announces a new tariff policy, what he's calling Liberation Day, shortly after Greene makes her massive bond purchase. Coincidence? Maybe. But if you were privy to the exact day that announcement would drop and you moved your money into bonds before the market took a hit, you'd make a killing. And that's exactly what some say Greene positioned herself to do. And she didn't stop there. That's because, according to Twitter watchdog Unusual Whales, the very next day after calling people out for panicking over tariffs, calling them losers and failures, Greene went out and bought a bunch of stock, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in major companies like Amazon, JP Morgan, Apple, and Lululemon. And so far this year, she's moved up to $1.5 million in trades. Now let me say that again. A sitting member of Congress, while publicly championing Trump's economic strategy, has been making trades that seem strategically timed around those very same policy announcements. Now look, this isn't a partisan issue. Let's be fair. Plenty of Democrats have done the same thing. Now, you may remember during the COVID pandemic when members of Congress had closed-door briefings before the public knew how serious it was. And what did some of them do? Well, they sold stocks before the market collapsed. That's not politics, that's corruption. It's greed. And it's systemic. Right now, we have what many are calling the Wild West of congressional trading. No real guardrails, no real oversight, just members of Congress making millions, sometimes more, on trades the rest of us can't make, based on information we'll never have access to. And that's your cold hard truth. Stay curious, stay critical, and I'll see you next time with another truth you need to hear.